The Social Media Fire podcast is on the air. Talking all things social media, trends, news, celebrities, and more. It's all fair game. Now, let's get the Social Media Fire started. Welcome to tonight's episode of Social Media Fire, the podcast where we talk all things social media. Tonight, on tap for us is Twitter. A lot of talk going on about Twitter these days, and one of the things that we as social media administrators, social media managers, we think about all the time, if we don't already have it, is to try to get that verified account on Twitter. It was a big deal on Facebook for a while, and then Facebook went out and started to add a lot of verified check marks to get people that status on Facebook. But Twitter's been a little bit more particular, a little tighter with their little blue and white check mark. They don't give it out quite as easily as maybe Facebook has given it out. And so one of the things going on in the news these days, as I examined an article on the website Social Media Today, they were talking about some changes coming up with Twitter. The article written by Travis Huff of Social Media Today talks about verified accounts on Twitter. And as I was mentioning before, it used to be only for the very elite accounts in social media, or for big-time celebrities who obviously can have elite Twitter accounts. But Twitter recently has decided they were going to open it up and actually have a verification application for those who are interested in getting that verified check mark. And again, as I mentioned before, this is a really, really big deal to a lot of social media managers. It gives you a sense of status. In the eyes of some people. It gives you a sense of feeling special. Everybody wants the little blue cloud with the white check mark in there to signify that you are that verified account. So what does verified mean? So the verified badge basically means that Twitter sees a sense of confidence, has a sense of confidence in you, your brand, that you are the real deal, that you're legit, that you're not somebody with a fake imitation account trying to capitalize on a brand that you don't technically control. It's to help fans be able to distinguish between who's legit and who's not legit, so you don't get fooled into following something that somebody just made up in their basement, but they're not really serious about it. They're not actually running the account for that brand. But again, they've been hard to come by. And a lot of people have pulled out hair from their head trying to figure out how they can get that check mark. And then when you get it, it's like, oh my goodness, we got the Twitter verified check mark. You don't quite feel like you can retire as a hero, that they're going to build a statue in your honor, that they're going to throw a parade in recognition. But you do feel like you've accomplished something pretty special, pretty major. And there are some small perks to it. It's not just a status symbol. There are some things that it will help you with in terms of filters that it gives you for notifications that you're getting, and some privileges with your direct messaging settings as well. But really, what people want it for is the status. That's really what people want it for. And so when you see it, you feel confidence, and it's not just about how many likes or how many followers, I should say, that you have on your Twitter account. There are people who are, quote unquote celebrities who may have hundreds, maybe a few thousand followers, but they have that check mark because of their celebrity status and because of the possibility that someone could create an account and purport to be someone that they are not, purport to be someone that is not giving them the rights or privileges to be able to handle their brand. And there was a time on Twitter, and there probably still is, where people grab a celebrity account, grab the name of a celebrity, and try to position themselves as that celebrity. Sometimes they'll get tricky and try to make it out like it's a satire account that is not sort of stealing the brand and using it for their own purposes, using it to advance their own messages about a particular celebrity or about a particular brand. But Twitter hasn't just been in the news about that. I've read a few articles about this move that Twitter wants to make to be able to show live sporting events. Now, Facebook Live has been a big thing where everybody can go live for everything, almost to the point that it annoys some people to see a friend or an acquaintance that you are Facebook friends with going live for anything that's going on in their life, a walk through the park, at home cooking dinner, a random thought about something. And so it's almost to the point where you see something live and you're like, oh, he's going live again, huh? Yeah. And so it's still a cool feature though, especially for brands and for people who work for brands that have certain personalities that appeal to live situations. Like, for example, in the media, if you're a reporter in the media and you want to go live on Facebook for something that's going on, that's a big possibility. On a certainly sadder, more dangerous note, we saw Facebook Live become a huge thing in the shooting of Philando Castile in Minnesota, the aftermath of which was streamed live on Facebook. So now Twitter's in the game. Twitter had some success with the live stream of Wimbledon, but they also are looking at some limited opportunities to show Major League Baseball, the National Football League, maybe some college games, even some hockey games, National Hockey League games. So you could be seeing a little bit more of these live sporting events on Twitter. And so it's really great to see Twitter not standing pat, trying to keep its brand going strong. There are a lot of other social media platforms that are starting to rise. Instagram has been rising now for a few years. We see Snapchat is on the rise right now. A lot of the younger people are starting to gravitate toward Instagram and Snapchat. And so a great move here by Twitter to continue to try to stay relevant, to continue to diversify the way that it's delivering content, diversify the type of content, original content that it's going to deliver to its users. So I say hats off to Twitter. Some great move right there on their part. It's actually kind of too bad that they couldn't have gotten in on the Olympics. But the Olympics is pretty well locked down. A lot of money shelled out to be able to broadcast the Olympics. But again, Twitter maybe in the future could be a great partner for Olympics content. So really cool thing going on right there with Twitter. One of my favorite platforms. Again, Twitter can be a very frustrating platform for a lot of people to master, to get the hang of, because it's one of those platforms where you can do everything right technically and still not be as successful as you'd like to be. And I think that's one of the things that, for me, makes it actually more exciting. So that was the biggest thing I wanted to talk about here tonight. Some of the things going on with Twitter, the verified account, the opportunities now for brands to be able to apply for the account. It gives you a set of criteria that you have to abide by, including a website, a phone number, a valid phone number that can be linked to the account, and some other things that you have to be in the running to receive the extra special verified Twitter checkmark. So if you run a Twitter account for a brand, especially if it's a major brand or a mid-major type brand, definitely would encourage you to look into the criteria that it's going to take for your brand to have its Twitter account verified. Again, it's mostly a status symbol, but it does have some benefits beyond just the status symbol of having the check mark. So thank you for listening to this episode of the Social Media Fire podcast. Please download, share, like, and otherwise spread the word about Social Media Fire. And I would invite you to stay tuned for the next podcast of Social Media Fire.